Konnichiwa! Welcome to the Hex Late Show. It's 43 OG, and we've got a special guest tonight. Let me bring him on.
Hello out there, crypto pirates. What's going on? There you go.
What's happening, brother? Where have you been? Where have you been, uNrekt? You look like you're in jail, mate.
Don't ask, don't tell. I've got like severe echo here. I don't know if you can hear me okay out there in YouTube, man. How are you going out there?
We can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
I've got like an echo.
How are we going? How about you guys out there in the chat? Can you are you hearing an echo or is it fine?
I'm here to shill.
You here to shill?
So
hang on. I'm gonna do this is my new ritual at the start of every stream. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Hey, I'll join you. Hey. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, man. What are you drinking?
Oh, I got the lemon. I've been on the lemon ruskies, mate.
Very nice. I'm on the sparkling sparkling water with a hint of lime and lemon.
And soda with natural lemon. There you go.
Mate, it's very nice to have
6%. 6%.
It's very nice to have you back on, mate. It's been a few weeks. You've been enjoying yourself. You've been traveling the land.
All the contraband inside the what do you call it? Imagine being like the cone of silence on the internet, down in the cone of silence into
the cone wasn't the cone of silence from Get Smart? How they had that thing?
Agent 86. Of course it was. Yeah.
We need one of those things, man.
Well, I saw a green trash day, yes.
I need one of those things for when I'm having discussions with you guys, you know, in the background. You know, we need one of those cones of silence.
And I'm in the cone of silence tonight because, like, when I talk, the words keep going back inside my head. That's fucking weird.
We're getting requests for uNrekt's guitar. Where is uNrekt's guitar? Oh, be careful what you ask for, James Bond. Be careful what you ask for. Hey, we've got guys in the back.
I got the all-seeing eye here.
So let me just bring him on. We got Bluey. What's happening, brother?
That's the Bloobum.
You're muted, mate. Hang on. Wait, let me see.
Can't hear me?
What am I doing?
Can't hear the new mic?
There you go. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, how's it sound? Everyone complaining last week about couldn't hear me. Now you can hear me.
The silky
tones of
Bloobum.
The reverb up and then a little bit.
Turn the reverb up. I haven't got that button. I've got a high pass filter or something.
No, the reverb.
No, you sound
like.
I can't understand you, uNrekt. You're all delayed. uNrekt, you look like you're either in prison or a Berlin squat. I'm not sure which one. Is that where you go when you're EES?
No, I'm
Bloobum.
like Arkham Asylum, mate. I've got my own special room here.
Could you say something, Bloobum? Because
you can't hear me.
No, we can hear you very well. We're getting told it's a bit loud, but I can put that down on my end.
I can put the gain down a bit. How does that sound?
That sounds good. That sounds really good. And
Too
hey. So we got you two legends on screen, and the third legend on screen. What's going on, Jexxa?
Yeah, going well. Bluey, you know it's customary when you get a new mic, you've got to put your mouth over it.
I like that. Hey, I haven't done this much before.
Dislocate your jaw. I think Hexologist has a tutorial somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you're really lifting the game there, mate. Look at that. You got plants in the background, lights.
Yeah, man. High production values.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
Yeah,
quality.
people are going to be so much more impressed by what I say now. I used to be that guy that he was sort of squeaking in the corner. What's he on about now? T-shares? What's that? Now it's like, oh yeah,
He knows what he's on about.
he does.
Does that mean we all have to talk a little
Power
bit
of
slower
T-shares.
as well
Let's
now?
talk about the power of T-shares, eh?
The power of T-shares. They are a powerful concept. Absolutely. Very powerful. Would you like to tell us about T-shares, uNrekt?
Well, you know what? I was visiting my 4-year-old daughter. She says, I went down to the waterfront there. I'm getting like,
Yeah,
now, can you hear me okay? I said to her like, no. She goes to me, Daddy, why you hire it? I said, who told you that? Anyway.
Is that the story?
Come on. I said, you're my little mermaid. And I want to like put her into a special Mensa college, and I need lots of like pirate. And crypto is the pirate, is like the, you know, it's like the jewel of the crown, isn't it?
Hey, uNrekt, your connection
Store
is
value. So the same
your connection, mate. Your connection is very, very average right now. Very average. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up what he's saying.
We don't hear much of what you say, uNrekt. It's just kind of like that kind of thing. So,
and Bluey, you're frozen on my end. I'm not sure if everyone else. Are you seeing that, Jexxa?
For who? uNrekt?
For Bluey? Or is he good?
No.
Or is that just,
seems good.
Is that just me? Okay. All right. That's just me.
Well, so, like I said, we're bringing a lot better production value this week.
Yeah.
Only
had good internet.
Hey guys, so what's been going on this week? We've had like, it's yet again another interesting week. You know, we've been a little bit sideways down. You know, all sorts of stuff going on, but ultimately, there's a lot to look forward to in this ecosystem right now. We're getting very, very close to what I think will be the launch of PulseChain. I mean, testnet version 2 is looking very, very good. I've had a chance to go on there and use the bridge. Yep. I've used the automated market maker. I've been swapping things over, moving things around. It works brilliantly. It really works brilliantly. So it fills me with a lot of confidence about what's coming. But it just depends, how much do they want? Like, how much do they want ready for the launch? It comes down to that, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah. So I totally agree with you. This week, so I disappeared last week or the week before. Went on a bit of a break. So I didn't get a chance to play with the bridge and all that until just recently. But like you, I've gone through and I've ran through everything we've got. So we've got the bridge that's up and running. There's a front end to Uniswap. Tried and played around with that. That was good. There's a faucet where you can get some test pulse if you need to be able to play. Obviously, I've been involved in setting up a validator. So we've gone through that process of setting up a validator node, staked on that.
By the way, just on the point of the poll on the faucet, what you might find is if you go and click on the faucet, you'll get a test pulse, but then it won't let you do it again, right? You have to wait 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
But what you can do is you can, even if you change address, it won't let you do it again because I think it's looking at your IP address. But if you've got if you've got a VPN and you can switch your VPN right to a different server, and then refresh the page, connect to the different address, you'll be able to get, like, if you've got different addresses, you can just get a test pulse as long as you're changing your VPN for each one. And that's your little hack for how you can get a whole lot of, extra test pulse in just one day. And then the next day you can do it again.
You should just probably explain a little bit about if people are watching for the first time, what exactly you're talking about. 43.
Yeah, well, so we have PulseChain, which is a fork of Ethereum, which is going to be going live at some stage in the next few months. And I'm not sure how deep you want me to go into that. Maybe we can explain that later. But at the moment, there's a test net because it's getting tested, and we need, anyone who wants to can plug in the details and go and play around on this test net to see how it's working, and to see, get some confidence in the system. Like, what are they creating? Does it work? Does it not work? Well, you can go on the test net and test things out. You can test their automated market maker. You can test the bridge. So you can bridge from the PulseChain testnet over to the Ropsten Ethereum testnet. And you can go back and forth from there. And it really works very well. I was surprised how well that bridge worked. It was super quick, super quick.
Intuitive as well.
Yeah, very intuitive, very easy. And what I was talking about is, on the PulseChain testnet version 2, to be able to play with it, you can get some free test pulse, right? So they're just going to drop some free tokens a free token into your account if you ask for it. But there's a limit. You can only do one per address from every IP address every day. So I was just saying, if you change IP address and you change address and reload the page, you can get another one at a different address, and you can just keep doing that a few times. So you can get a whole lot of test pulse in one day if you want. And then you can go swap that for Hex and swap that for something else and bridge it over to Ropsten and bridge it back. And it's, a bit of fun, hey?
So
free play money
the other piece of the puzzle I didn't mention is go.hex.com, all operational as well. All seamless, no flicking of switches and things like that. It just works. So, like you said, day 43, it's the most confident I've been, like, in terms of we're almost there. I think we're almost there. Like, I think we have to see another round of testnet with all the balances and everything on it.
Yep.
But,
Sammy.
How are you, Sammy?
Hey, Sammy. Hey, Tangent.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Sammy, you've got a bit of noise, bit of feedback with your.
Amber, can you just be quiet? Don't do that now. Go away, please. Can you stop?
Is it have I got feedback?
Yeah, Sammy, you had a bit of feedback.
Is it still there?
It's better.
Cool.
Sorry, Jexxa, you didn't finish what you were saying.
No, I was almost there. I was just saying that in terms of the network being ready, things feel not complete, but I feel like we've got all the core components in place. It's really back end stuff that the team are probably dealing with, like the fixer bot and balances. Everything else seems to be ticking along all right.
I mean,
I wonder if they started that fixer bot. Last we heard, they hadn't started it yet. Started coding it.
The big question is also this incentive token. What kind of game tokenomics is he going to play with that?
The inflating token, which is the token that will reward people who provide liquidity in PulseX. That's the token you're talking about, which as of yet we don't have a name, and we don't really have that many details relating to it, do we?
And what he's going to do with how the DAO is going to be run, how we're going to vote on the rewards, how they're divided up between pools.
Hey, Mr. Tangent, am I coming through now? Because like before when I was talking, I was like, I must have had a window in the background that I couldn't shut down. It was like playing on replay in my head. Like every time I spoke was like bang, 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 bang about 3 times.
We can hear
So
now.
how we going? All right, well, I've got me boomerang now. So good, we're talking across the nation. And welcome to the next Lunch Show, everyone. It's let's talk about computer science and let's talk about Hex specifically, because I'm here to shill. and I love Hex, and it's the best crypto, and we all know that. But like Tangent, my man, and Sammy Chicker on stream. Here we all are, day 43, mate. It's good to see you.
Oh yeah, we've got the full crew for once. This is the first time in a while, right?
Yeah, we're finally dialed in. Yeah, that's it. And
how good is it to have guys? How good is it to have uNrekt back? It's been
I know, we missed you. How's life, uNrekt Pirate?
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here and contributing if I can add anything of any value. There's been a lot of things.
I think you always bring something interesting every stream, uNrekt. I've got to say that. Whether it's whether it's a weird hat, you got some weird animal statue things you keep dragging out occasionally, a cool guitar. So there's always something going on.
Yeah, there's always something going on. I'm always cooking on 3 burners in the background here, but I had a little bit of shed a little bit of a tear today because I do. I whacked 9 T-shares on the head, and it was like, wow. And to get them back was going to be like more than what it cost to get them out. So figure that one out in your head. There's a little bit of basic mathematics involved.
Oh, and, hopefully it was for a good cause.
Yeah, you got to keep the wheels turning, eh? But so what's been going on in Hexland? It's mutable code, triple audited security. It's got to be like Tangent time, mate. Mate, I saw a picture of you with a beautiful girl during the week on the Twitters, mate. I was like very impressed with that.
Yeah, you've been partying, Tangent, eh?
Is that your girlfriend, mate?
But before we get into that, one of my friends that works at Google started messaging me today about Hex because of the Insta post that I'd put up on Oz Day, and he was asking me various different questions. I was walking him through it. I was actually quite happy with how I was answering his questions very efficiently and very, appropriately. And I think the biggest thing that came out of it was when he was talking about, what competitors there are, because he said what he would like at the moment is something that has like stable yield in terms of in dollar terms. And ultimately I said to him, the things that I said, I don't mind what you end up going for, but just make sure no admin keys, no centralization, like think about the risk stack. Make sure that, something might be, if something's audited, but it also needs a track record because some of these audits, it can be audited and still end up having a bug in the code. So I basically just laid down, and it reinforced in my mind why Hex is so amazing because it has those things. And it was easy for me to basically lay those down to him and say, go out and try and find something that has these things. But if you can't find something that has those things, then it should be a deal breaker. Like, in my opinion, those are must-have attributes of whatever you're using to try and chase yield.
Very cool. And he messaged you back. That was that thing on Twitter, yeah? He messaged you back where...
we were chatting on Facebook Messenger, but yeah, like, so really he's going to go and search for effectively what he ideally wants is effectively like a Hex equivalent that is stable to the dollar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I get it perfectly.
Like, I see where he's going. Like, if there's a chance that we're in a bear market and he doesn't, like, so for most people within Hex, we're highly confident, from reasonably confident to highly confident that Hex will survive and withstand and resist bear market negative price action. However, for someone like him that's never been in Hex and assumes that all crypto is going to get crushed, he's thinking, well, if my yield is in Hex and then the Hex price gets crushed, then there's no point me doing this, right? So from his perspective, he wants something that is giving, even if the yield is lower, if it's stable to the dollar. But I think he'll come around. Like, he's a smart guy, and he's,
okay, so
and he trusts my opinion a lot. Yeah. So
maybe the thing that gets someone like that over the line initially is, you know what, mate? If you pull out your interest, you can put it into USDC. If that's what you need to get to a point where you're comfortable. Could be that simple. That it's reliable interest coming in. Now, obviously,
But you're saying when you re-roll the stake, like
yeah. So when you re-roll a stake, if that's what he needs to be comfortable, and then I think what you'd find is people like that eventually get comfortable and then go, why do I want to be in?
He's not going to find an admin-free key
No.
stablecoin. And
No.
as soon as you put it in somewhere which gets you interest, there's even more risk there.
yes, yeah. So this is what I was highlighting to him about the risk
It's the most
stack.
craziest thing to do. Why on earth would you want to have a stablecoin, which is basically the biggest shit coin ever invented, that is just going down in value over time?
Bloobum, you have to realize this guy, he's not deep in crypto. Like so he understands tech.
Yeah, I
he works for
understand.
Google, but he's not in crypto. So he's not aware of that most stable coins, almost all of them have admin keys, counterparty risk, etc.
But even even if you did have a really good stablecoin, which somehow was trustless, which there isn't, like, why would you want to hold?
I'm on the stream with you, dude. We're bringing it to the chain. What do you mean?
Oh, right. No, but like, sorry?
That's exactly what liquid loans is, man.
Oh, yeah, okay. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about USDC. I was just thinking about why would you want to hold the US dollar?
Yeah.
Like, over time, the US dollar is going to go down in value. That's what
Can you explain that?
Jexxa,
can you explain that, man? Can you explain that, please? Like, just so that,
so people understand.
No, yeah, just like what you mean by that.
Before you start, I was just going to say to Bloobum, these are different branches of the rabbit hole. You've got to remember, he can't learn, like, as in, he doesn't necessarily just going to become galaxy brain about crypto, about every single aspect of it, and know everything of why we love Hex so much. But sorry, Jexxa, go ahead.
Okay, so let's have a look at stable coins in general. I think, and I totally agree with you, Bluey, on this. Most of them.
I got a question. I got a crypto question though. First,
we're such a professional outfit, aren't we?
Yeah. uNrekt, let's let Jexxa finish his thought, and then you go next, mate. You go next, mate.
Okay, so in general, I think we agree that stablecoins as they exist now have a whole lot of counterparty risk with them. I think we can all agree that. And why would you want to be in something pegged to the US dollar when we know that the US dollar is getting inflated away at an exponential amount? So totally agree with that. But regardless of what anyone's opinion is, the stable coins play an important role. And that is exactly what Tangent's talking about. In times of volatility, they are a safe harbor. Now, safe is a relative term, but safe in terms of getting out of the volatility during a market that's trending down. So they have a use. They flow throughout all of the ETH DeFi world, and they are widely used. You've only got to look at the number 3 coin in crypto is a stable coin. So to say that they're not used or not useful is not.
Well, the sacrifice addresses are holding a lot of stable coins. And just look, just in the interest of transparency, what you're about to talk about, Jexxa, you are a part of that team of.
I'm not even. Yeah, so I'm not even talking about liquid loans, but there does exist.
Sorry, I thought you were going to.
I'm not going to go on a rant on liquid loans. Everyone knows I'm involved. What I'm saying is there is a stable coin that exists, which is algorithmic and doesn't have the counterparty risk that USDC and Tether and the likes do have. So everyone knows I'm involved in the project bringing that to the chain, but let's just be clear that that's what it is. It has no admin keys, so that this does exist. This technology exists. No admin keys, no counterparty risk, fully collateralized by a crypto asset, being Pulse in our case, or there's ones on ETH chain as well. So that does exist, and it is useful. Whether you think it's useful from an investment point of view, I totally agree. Maybe not, because you want to be in an asset that's growing, and we like our yield in an asset that's growing as well. But these things are important. They play an important role.
But and can you then use that stable to get yield somewhere?
You can.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, I see it as that, like, the US dollar is basically on its last legs, and the only reason we use it is as a unit of account.
Oh, steady on there. I was going to change tack. That's getting a bit like, how you going, mate? Because I want to know, like, we talk about crypto.
yeah.
Can we just talk about crypto for a sec? Because the only thing really that matters is the number go up. But like, let's just talk about, because I've got a question. I've been trying to find this stuff out on the internet, in the webs and that. I've been on the interwebs and like trying to find this shit out, right? And I think Tangent might know because he's been around the block a few times. What's this thing about this little like fucking frog called Peppy?
Actually, if anyone knows the history behind Peppy, I wouldn't mind hearing that either.
I semi looked into it once, and I think it actually is racist. Like,
No,
I think
well, that's
okay.
It was a troll for racism.
Yeah, like as in crypto, it's a joke. Like in crypto, it's totally a joke. But
but like all the memes and that, like, because come on, like it's like everything is like
it started off as a
it's
troll.
like you got like he's holding his chin, he's like looking up at his like moon and all this shit. That's funny. That's funny as fuck, isn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah. So
I remember listening to a podcast on it actually ages ago, but I can't recall exactly.
He's on Wikipedia. Peppy the Frog.
I never.
Yeah, no, I wanted dirt on it, man. I wanted like the.
So,
I
never thought much about it until because I just thought it was just like a crypto meme. I didn't realize.
I want a cone of silence.
I didn't realize it had background from like before crypto, until apparently Jordan Peterson was copying like mad backlash from. He was having a photo with a group of people, and someone whipped up the Pepe, and he's not in control of what people do when he's having a group photo, right? Like, it's not, if someone has a photo with you, you're not endorsing them or their attitudes. And this happens to people all the time, like people have photos with prominent figures and then use that as like social credit that's like to show that they are worthy of respect or whatever. Anyway, so I was like, why is this such a bad thing, that this Pepe thing? And then all I found about it was, it was there was something to do with racism.
Yeah, but it's on Wales Only every week. He uses like little Peppy themes on the Wales Only stream. I think there's like Wales Only and Proof of Beard. No, is it Wales Only, Proof of Beard Only? There's a bromance going on over there, and they're always like using Peppy memes. And like what's going on? He's trying to like send some subliminal messages through the radio.
I mean, it looks hilarious. Even before I didn't ever need to go and look up the background, because I was like, this shit just looks hilarious. Like the look of that frog is hilarious. It just looks hilarious. You know what I mean?
No, it's fun. Oh, you can't help laugh. I mean, you got to laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. Laugh so hard that you like bring tears to your eyes. All right, I better get back into my little like piss brawly little prison. And
thanks for the super chat, Paladin.
I've got a question. I've got a question here.
Well, it's a super chat for $25. Thank you.
Never heard of her. For a start, we've never heard of her.
It's a
dude.
dude.
Any
it's a
guys
guy.
know who's Ricardo Bossy? Who's she?
I think he's the head of some political party in Australia.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
I have no opinion.
Well, send your money up to like 1-800 eat a dick. And we'll sponsor the next fucking.
So this is my understanding is Ricardo Bossy is someone who is being touted as a straight shooter type.
Well, that's good. Figure. Then we want him on our side, and you want to like buy and stake it. But let's talk about that for a second. Can we just? Because while I got a train of thought, would like to say that. We're still in the sacrifice phase of PulseX, and that is exciting. And sacrifice, get your bits in. Like, come on, you want to be involved in the sacrifice set of PulseX and Pulse, and being on the like the best golden portfolio of investment. I mean, yeah, I might be a little bit of a loon, and I'm like down in like the dungeons of crypto or whatever, like looking at different things. I'm not like the one. I'm not like the one getting wrecked on anything. Like I don't dabble in anything other than Hex. I love Hex, and that's the only crypto that I ever really. I don't need the other ones. It's nice that that's going on, and I'll put a bit in just to say, yeah, good on you, Richard Hart. Any Richard Hart product. I mean, come on, the man's a legend. I would like to shout out to like Trip. Thank you,
big
Richard.
shout out.
We're
Big
only
shout
here
out.
because of you.
So Tangent, what about the cute girl? Tell us the
There's-
story. You two
Yes, Tanger's girlfriend.
tell us
Juice.
about it.
Juice man. She was juicy.
I can't. Like, as in,
Hey guys, so confidentiality. Hey, confidentiality agreement. It's like a bit like that. Isn't it?
yeah,
Is there an NDA?
She's Estonian, and I guess like
Stop it.
most girls,
Stop right
most
there.
girls from that area of the world are like freaking hot. Yeah.
Wow.
We like the same music. She's into drum and bass, and just randomly met her. Like, she was, because I helped. So that event that I was at, it was my friend's event that she was putting on, this sort of like music festival by the beach, and so I was there helping her set up with some other friends, and that chick was with the photographer who was photographing and videoing the event. So we met like right at the start.
Cool.
Nice.
Living the
Very
good life.
nice.
Yeah.
Sammy,
You realise we're all reliving our party days through you, Tangent.
I get a lot of messages like that on Twitter.
absolutely. Hey, Sammy, you had ladies discourse during the week, on the weekend. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really good. No dick pics this week. No one getting on there and showing their dick, so that was a bonus.
Was it a bonus though?
It was a fun. We had heaps of new ladies on, which are all awesome. A lovely lady called Hex Travels from Hawaii, and she's retired, and she was actually on the beach when she came on Ladies Discourse, and it's just awesome to see people enjoying their lives, retired from Hex and having a great time. So, yeah, met some new ladies, and it's always good to meet new people. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Now, if you guys missed it last week, Sammy's doing a new segment for us, which we'll do in a second. But before we do that, is there a meetup, Sammy, that we want to announce on stream tonight? A Melbourne meetup. And when I say Melbourne, I don't mean Melbourne, Florida. I mean Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, you meet in Australia. So we got the Hex Melbourne meetup on the 12th of February in the city at QT, the QT Roof Bar. Everyone's invited. We've got a little group. So if you want the link, message me on Telegram or Twitter, and I'll send you through the link. And we're just going to meet up after midday and have some drinks and talk some Hex Pulse, some Pulse sex. And have a really good time. The 43 is going to be there. Aren't you 43?
I'd like to be there.
So what's the date? 30th of February, is it?
12th of February.
4th, is it?
Are you going to be there, Jexxa? Any of you guys going to come down?
Mate,
Because
we're still in our birdcage, mate.
They can't get out. They need a reason to get back in because I've got people over here.
Premier got out.
They
Did
need
the Premier get out?
to get
Well,
back.
I don't think he'll get back in either, hopefully.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That's hilarious. Do you know how hilarious that is? That like the guy who makes the rule then has to leave, like is forced to leave and has to leave. That's hilarious. That is like just comedy to me.
And well, he is going to cop that much flack if he doesn't do his time and do the isolation and all that sort of stuff. And so, it'd be interesting to see how that all plays out. But obviously, 2 sets of rules these days. So
So are you in lockdown or what's going on over there?
no, never been in lockdown, Sammy, but we just can't leave the state.
Because I think some people want to have another Perth meetup soon. You seem like to have a really nice group of people in that Telegram chat.
Yeah, no, there's a good bunch of people. We did have a smaller meetup down in Dunsborough, which is sort of 3 hours south of Perth recently, but that was just a pretty casual catch up. But the next one, where we do it in Perth or wherever, we'll make that a big event, that one. We've got hundreds of people over here, so yeah, it'll be a great
Yeah, I think we are overdue for a catch up, aren't we?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I was thinking we might do one on the launch of PulseChain. That might be a good.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So
You know,
So maybe in about 2 years' time, mate.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like another 4 weeks, you'll be right. Yeah, no worry.
Hey, I was thinking also, when we actually get Australian meetups and we'll move it like around different states each year. But I was thinking like for Melbourne, Melbourne Cup, we could get like, a nice big setup. At least if you're coming over, all
That'd
the
be ideal.
Oh, should we buy a racehorse?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
should, like,
good.
like,
Wait, oh wait, no,
Oh.
sorry, I forgot that there's like
things,
everyone's against that shit now.
you know.
Like as in, there's
Oh,
like
you
a lot
still
of.
can. There's the Australian Open in Melbourne. We got the Melbourne Cup, and we got the Grand Prix we have here. So, you know, it'd be good to, like, when we do an event, to put it where there's something really cool happening in your state.
So F1 car rather than a horse.
Yeah, you guys love that shit. So
I
what?
would love to have a Hex F1
F1
team.
car.
Can
you
you
F1
imagine?
car,
Can you imagine if we had a Hex team and a Pulse team in the F1?
Hey,
like
hey,
how
hey,
like
hey.
Red Bull's got like Red Bull and Toro Rosso.
Hey,
we could have Hex and Pulse F1 teams.
We're getting like Muay Thai fighters wearing Hex gear. At the,
Shit,
like,
yes.
you know, strike first, like, you know, like the proper fighting shorts.
Boxes.
Hex.com on it. It's like, and the ringside girls, mate, like the ring girls with the bikinis. Hex.com, mate. Get over there and fucking.
Did you see the
Big.
Daytona Hex car, guys? How awesome was that? Did you see that?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna get a lot of eyeballs on that one. That's a
great segue, Sammy.
Yeah.
That's a great segue. So let's kick over to that.
Lots of plum trees, a sheep, a two, a kangaroo, a clothesline out the back.
That's a knife. All I had was me undies on.
Hey, so who's going to be the Hexagon Legend of the Week? Well, he's one of our regulars. It's Dawsy78. He's here every week, nearly, and he's always tuning in. He's one of our favourites, and he's got himself some Hexagon number plates from Queensland. Beautiful one day, shit house the next. But aren't they gorgeous? And he says in his tweet, bitch tits of last week took delivery of these bad boys last week too. So good on you, Dawsy. You're killing it, mate.
Very nice. Very nice.
So, how many cars are we talking there? Is that
He's in the audience. Dawsy, how many cars you got, mate? Are they for 3 different cars or just a show?
We've doxed him as well, seeing he's Queensland.
I'm assuming that Sammy pulled these off of Twitter or somewhere anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, so what a legend, eh?
Is he in the chat today?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah, there he is.
And
Another Hex fan. Very nice. Very nice.
No Hex
great.
were harmed in this process.
1 plate, 1 car, but more plate ideas to come. Thanks, Dawsy.
Good stuff, mate. That is that's very solid. Look forward to seeing what car you put that on, or what cars you put that on. Good stuff. Where'd uNrekt go?
We want to have a look at some crazy wallet action?
Yeah, bring it to me.
You've been doing some on-chain, Jexxa?
No, I haven't. So this was just something that someone else put in on the Twitters, and I didn't go in and have a good look at the addresses, other than just have a quick look on StakeHex today. But these are pretty big addresses, and someone said that they might have been selling down the price recently, so I haven't actually gone and checked all of that out. But some weird behaviour, I think. I'll bring up a screen. So there's 3 accounts. This is one of those accounts. Now you can't see it because we've got the logo in the top of the screen, but this is a $33 million account up here. Currently got liquid of 1.5 mil. So let's put it in Hex terms. So about 8.5 mil worth of liquid Hex sitting there. Principal of nearly 90 mil staked. That's pretty impressive. Now, and we've got the next one. Not quite as impressive this one, but still, I think there'd be a lot of people that'd be pretty happy to have that account in there. Oh, I know this one is that impressive actually. So 80 mil worth of principal there, and another one. We'll put that into Hex terms as well. Yeah, that's a pretty big one as well, hey. Now, what's interesting about all of these accounts, if I'm reading this correctly, if we look at some of these dates here, these are the dates these stakes should be ending. But they're all in the past. So we've got a lot of stakes here that are just sitting there bleeding out. And that's the same for this previous one here. So they seem to have, excuse me, seem to have very similar behavior in that they're all pretty large accounts. They all seem to have stakes dating back from sort of around September that are just sitting there bleeding out. This one's October. Now, why? Why would someone do that?
6? Is it just 6 or are there more?
6.
6 stakes. Are they just 6 stakes?
There's a whole ton of them you can
No,
see.
this is a whole bunch of them.
On backup
right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
On backupx.com, you can see a whole list of them.
Yeah, so 76 stakes on that one, 43 on that one,
That
45 on
website's
that.
dope.
Yeah, and the stakes range out, like they go out 15 years. So it's a committed person. Like they're committed to the system.
Who's just letting it bleed out. So
Yeah.
for people who are not quite sure what that means, it means that the stake has ended, but the person hasn't ended the stake. And so what happens is over a 2-year period, those stakes slowly diminish by 1% per week. And either they're end staked at some point, or if not, and they reach their full maturation, if somebody from the community runs the good accounting on them, all of that hex gets distributed to all of the stakers on that day.
So
Hey, let's talk about something. What are we talking about? Please, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about like some uNrekt fundamentals now. Let's go into triple audit security. Let's go into like the fundamentals, and let's go into talking about like how good is just the faith in the project, just the belief from the OG Hickens that X is going to be going up and to the right. Hey, look at this! I've got a little mate for you. See my little mate? Boy, look at that! You see it? Oh no, I'm lagging out. What? Can you see the little frog? Look, it's like. We don't like being called Peppy.
Is that a pet?
Call me Peppy. He's like, don't call me Peppy.
Oi, uNrekt.
You know?
Is that a pet?
What?
Was that background before a green screen background, the one that looked like you were in a fancy ass hotel room?
Yeah.
Is that a pet, uNrekt pirate, or just some random you found?
Straight, picking up strays.
Look at that.
uNrekt is a master of picking up strays.
Don't knock the Peppy, mate. Don't knock the Peppy, mate.
Aren't they poisonous, uNrekt pirate?
Try licking it.
Look.
Be careful. Oh, God.
So a little rare specimen. It's like a little Wallum froglet. Look at him. He just came in there. He came in through the look. I've got like a toilet seat over here. Look. Can you see my toilet? I'm in like jail. I did the wrong. I was like bad boy. Look, where's my door? There you go. Look at that toilet seat.
Yeah.
It's quality TV, isn't it? It's quality TV, isn't it? You got to say. The Discourse Syndicate streaming around the world wide web is like, what do you say? Longevity research, the right to movement and assembly, and blockchain is freedom of speech. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you believe in those things, then get your bets down. Because PulseChain is changing the world. We're coming for you, and
I'm sure you're giving people a lot of confidence.
The Hex community is just one of the best parts about Hex in multiple respects. And I think some of the stuff we've already talked about this stream really highlights that.
The David Attenborough of Hex.
Hey mate, don't knock it, mate. I'm big on environmental. I'm big on environment, mate. Like I mean it. Like I feel it in my heart. We need to do something for future generations.
Until we buy that racehorse, then you're going to be like, whip that thing.
Yeah, right. Comfort.
So, guys, when's PulseChain?
Well,
Come on, I know, Jex, you just said it's all ready to go.
No,
When's
I didn't say that at all.
everything's getting ready?
I feel like it's pretty close.
This is
I
us
think it's
announcing the
pretty
Lawson
close.
Pulse chain.
When's testnet 3 coming out?
No. I don't think there's going to be a testnet 3.
I don't
Sammy.
think there's going to be
it's-
number 3.
I think
You
that's-
don't?
Yeah. I
Number
think
2's work. I think version 3 is going to be main,
they might
like
do a
mainnet.
test. They might do a version 3 for the all the balances and everything.
That's what I thought.
Make sure all that works.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
Someone's
And
called it
the-
February 28th.
And also the bots. They're gonna have to run the. They're gonna have to testnet all of the bots that come in and adjust the liquidity pools. So
I think that's a bigger task than what most people would imagine.
Nah,
That's
so
a-
Why
a
do you,
few lines of
why do you
code,
think
mate.
they'll do that? Hey, why do you think they'll do that publicly anyway? I mean, that's all going to be run before it's public. So why would that part of it need to be public?
isn't that the point of a testnet?
Yeah, but
Not-
they're the ones. That's
yeah.
going to happen. That's going to happen before it goes live, right?
Yeah, I've got no idea what they.
So there's multiple test nets. So we've got obviously the public test net that we mess around on, but the devs would have their own stuff that they'll be running all this. So they could run that multiple times. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see whether they do it on testnet. You would think they would put it up there for the community to validate and double check and make sure things are okay.
Check all about our balances.
All right, I think our balances. I think that will go up there for sure, and everyone will be able to check that out. I think that is testnet 3 as a minimum. Would have to have that. I would think. Do they run the fixer bot? I guess I don't know. I honestly don't know whether they will or not.
Yeah. Hey guys, another thing I wanted to say. I don't know if you saw. You know, Tom Gillespie. He's doing the Hex documentary, the journo from Brisbane. Did you see his recent podcast?
From Sweden.
Did you hear it?
Well, what was that one, Sammy? I didn't catch the.
Did you hear Tom Gillespie having that podcast with that Bitcoin dude? It was on Twitter. He posted it on Twitter. I should put it in our.
No.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't talking real good about it, and it was kind of condescending about how he related the Hex community to a religion, and basically didn't say some really nice things about Hex. Yeah,
we've got all the positive aspects of a cult. Like we've got the positive side of cult behavior.
Yeah, but
Sammy, you realise he's pure,
I'm not happy
he's
with
just
that.
pure satire.
yeah, I know, but he's just like that kid that wasn't cool at high school, and now like he's become a journo for attention, and now no one likes him. Like everyone in his community like tells him to fuck off. But if you want to listen to it, I'll post it in
I would agree with
because
that.
it was quite condescending.
Well, can I give you a bit of behind the scenes info? I don't even know if I should be saying this shit, right? But he got invited onto a podcast which I won't name. Another podcast, a stream, a Hex stream.
Yep.
And
He did a
he
no
said,
show.
"Oh no, I can't make it. I've like had something that has made me like I've had a allergic reaction, and it's like my face is blown up, right?" And he sent a photo, and then so the photo looked like his face had blown up a bit, but if you look at the side, like he's used some like stretchy thing, and the doorway is like stretched around like that.
Oh no! What a wanker!
I'll give you even more background than
That's
that.
so weird. Why lie about it? Just be like, I don't want to come on the stream.
He's
Like,
freaking
what?
weird. Go, Bluey. What were we gonna say?
I first encountered him when he first did an interview with Richard Hart, and I saw that he was making his own doco on something else completely different, on this scooter coin kind of stuff. So I got in contact with him because I thought, man, great idea, but you've got to pivot to Hex. Like, you're missing the big picture here. You've got an absolute gem of an idea. And this was in like mid to late 2020. This was when Hex was still a third of a penny. I told him all about it. I said, man, you've got to get onto this. This is a documentary waiting to happen, blah, 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 blah. He was like, no, like, I want to do this other thing that he's doing. The other thing turned out to be, quite frankly, not very good. Went on for a very long time and wasn't very interesting. So then
So you're the one that gave him the idea.
Then he pivots, and then he pivots to then he pivots to doing something about Hex, and so he contacted me again and said, "Would I be interested in, I don't know, producing or blah blah blah?" So I had a couple of chats with him, and like he just wasn't interested in hearing any of my ideas, like or how what kind of direction I thought he could go in, and I was kind of pitching like the direction that the current documentary has gone in, which is just
Shill it,
the
the
right
highest
thing
of
to do.
stakes, everyone.
Shill
Highest
it.
of stakes documentary.
The highest of stakes.
The
Because
highest of
that,
stakes documentary,
you don't
and it's to do with and it's Discourse
yeah, shut up
Syndicate
for a second,
Network.
uNrekt. You shut up. You don't
No,
need to. You don't. It's the
No,
story
you
sells
shut up.
itself.
Boys. Yeah, but either way, Tom Gillespie's going in the wrong
Listen here,
direction.
cunt. I'll tell you what, if you want to fucking
Yes.
if you want to go and get on a fucking documentary,
Down.
listen here. Because I was already in one, and there's 40 years of fucking ongoing research, cunt. So don't tell me about fucking boats, cunt. I mean it. Predict my future. If you want to have a look at what a fucking documentary looks like, I'm on that.
Yeah, to sum it up, he's a real he's a
To
bit of a
sum it up, he's trying to do like a characters and he's trying to do satire, but he's not a very funny person. He's got a good character, but that he's trying to do everything. He's just trying to do too much at the same time.
But this is how dumb he is, right? He even tweeted out that he was supposed to go to a Hex meetup in Miami and it was a Bitcoin.
Yeah, he's not dumb. That was
He's
on
doing-
purpose.
yeah,
He's
that's
playing
his whole
dumb.
thing. That's his
his whole
shtick.
shtick.
Yeah.
It's just not funny. That's
It's
all
not
it is.
funny, and his accent's not funny. It's freaking.
He's making fun of us
He's still one of
Aussies.
those- he's still-
Swedish.
he's still- is he taking actually this because that is not helping, and you know we should like
Do
give him
nothing.
clown of the week.
Okay, so
No.
what?
He's got stiff competition, mate.
Understand that
Clown of
that's
the
how
week.
that's how he makes his living, is going into the communities like Hex, and he could do it on bloody Dash or whoever. It doesn't matter. He goes in, plays part with the community, and then
No, if he
That's how
was smart, he would do that. If he was smart, he didn't even do that. He's like he's his own like little strange rabbit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like a character comedy, and he's a very hard worker. Like he's working his ass off. It's just that he's pouring all of the energy into stuff that isn't very interesting.
When he could have just bought Hex and staked it, isn't it? Right, ladies and gentlemen.
He's
Like
thinking
you
about that.
I was telling him about it
Why
at
the
a
heck
third of a
stake
penny.
it? Buy the Hex and stake it. That's right. It was like we were all like remember when we were like, oh, 5 cents, that would be wonderful. Imagine 5 cents Hex.
Well, when we
Ooh.
thought 1 cent. I mean, how long did it take? to
Hang
get
on.
1
1
cent.
Did you tell him?
Penny.
Were you telling him at a third of a penny?
Yeah.
And he's calling us a cult. That's a rich fucking cult. That's a rich ass fucking cult. Man.
Hey, isn't that true though, man? Like, how many where's all the Bitcoin bros that are got driving Lambos and all that? Hey, I only see Hexicans are like ballers, mate.
I wonder if PulseChain will go sideways like for a year like Hex did. I mean, we had our little run-ups, but it seemed to drag on, didn't it, until we got to that 1 cent mark. Do you reckon PulseChain will do something similar?
You know who I'm really
Hard to know.
afraid for? I'm afraid for all these people that have sacked for PulseX, wanting to get Pulse. Because I think there's going to be a stampede to dump their PulseX, and that's going to drop in value. And like
Maybe not.
Yeah.
You can't
it's-
predict that.
Yeah,
Really?
that's,
No,
it's
but
too much.
look at
to
the
How
numbers.
do you know?
Fundamentals.
How do you
Look at
know?
the
How do you know
fundamentals.
there aren't some?
I
No,
don't.
but how do you
I
know?
don't know.
How do
I
you
don't
know
know.
that?
And
some-
people might pick it up. Absolutely.
Fundamentals.
But
That's what I'm saying, man.
look at the
That's
numbers.
what I'm saying. We but we don't know. We
Look
don't
at the
know.
numbers. And
I'll
the
tell you what I
sentiment.
do know. The sacrifice.
Let's look at
addresses
some real
have a
numbers. No, let's
shit
do some
ton-
numbers.
A shit ton. Hang on. Have a shit ton of stablecoins in them. A shit ton.
Sorry, say that again, Day 43.
The sacrifice addresses have a shit ton of stable coins in them.
Yeah,
I
true.
wonder what those stable coins do. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something.
They'll
I
get
wonder what
bridged
they
over.
do.
They'll get bridged over
Well,
so that they're stable
I don't
coins
know,
for
man.
Pulse. For Pulse.
I don't know.
Let's get
I'm just
tangent. Let's
saying,
get
I don't know what
on
they're
the
going to do.
numbers.
They could
The
do
only-
all sorts of things.
the
They
number.
could do all sorts of things.
What else could they do?
I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot that they could do. They're stable coins. They could do anything. They could buy up anything. They could do anything. So it's just an interesting thing to observe, and to like think that
But you got to give a reason why
automatically-
it's interesting. You can't just say it's
Because
interesting.
it's interesting because you can do anything with it with stable coins.
Like you
Right.
can
So
swap
in
it
a
into
bear
futures.
market, everything else will be dropping, but stable coins will just be, you know, their
Stable.
ratios will be going up against all the cryptos. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're used. Who knows? No expectations, right? I don't want to
I mean,
say
for now, what else is he
anything
gonna
because I don't
do?
want to give anyone any expectations because I don't know. I don't want anyone to think that what I'm saying is going to happen or isn't going to happen. But
Yeah, but you're a
if you
smart dude,
sort of
though,
just-
D. You're a smart dude.
But you're not
Paul.
saying
you let-
anything. You haven't said anything, really.
I'm not going to no. Apart from there's a lot of stable coins there. They're going to do something. I don't know what they're going to do.
Might do
Yeah,
nothing.
They might do nothing. I'm not going to say it, but I'll let your mind wander.
Okay. All right. So
Well, what could they
let's
do?
yeah, let's remove the
Righto.
stable coins because they are an unknowable and you don't know what they're going to do. So any discussion on those is pure speculation. Much as most of the rest of this discussion is going to be.
That's all we're doing. That's pretty much it.
But, okay,
guys.
all things being equal, is what Bluey said. Do you think there's any validity to it?
Is that a
Or
question
agree?
to me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that. Say it again.
Okay, so take the stablecoins out of the equation because we don't know what they're going to do, and they could be used in the same way you're discussing on both PulseX and Pulse.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's remove them out of the equation. What Bluey said was there's a lot of potentially people wanting to exchange their PulseX for Pulse. Do you think there's any validity to that? And what's the impact on that happening?
If you missed out on the Pulse sacrifice, it's a no-brainer, and you want to get into it. In my mind, and not financial advice, it seems like a no-brainer to get into the PulseX and then swap some for Pulse. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
No brainer.
Like, what-
Yeah, it
know?
is. You're
My
right.
point is,
Absolutely.
though, that everybody is doing it, and so many more people
they?
sacrificed for PulseX than they did for Pulse. And I think the sentiment in the community
Is that
seems
right?
to be that the idea
sure?
is, yeah.
What? Hang
well,
on.
we don't know for sure
More
because
people,
there's
more
pools-
people, or more money?
both.
Both.
So just bear in mind that the price of Hex was more when the bulk of it was more than double when the bulk of the sacrifices were made at the start, when a lot of them were made at the start. So
I
Hex
wouldn't
was
say double,
much more.
but okay. But I think what
It was
Bluey's
much
saying
more.
is from a pure numbers point of view, like number of wallets, something like nearly triple.
Look, there's unknown in there in terms
Can
of.
we talk
there's
about
big
adoption?
wallets.
Because I think that's important. I think that is important. The adoption curve is definitely starting to steepen. You know, like we've seen just like literally in 12, 18 months or so, from 20,000 staker wallets to 80,000 staker wallets. And then there's some discretion around, you know, it's probably close to 100,000, to be honest. If you look at Hex daily stats and go, oh, you know, like certainly like in terms of wallets, like 300,000, like it seems we're still small, eh? It's like a nucleus.
Well, it will be an interesting year with the Daytona 500, the documentary coming out. Like that's some big things, you know, coming. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
So let's
Any ETA on that
let's have a
docker?
think about this. All of the people who have Hex USDC in the pool at the moment know that the fork is coming, and they don't want to be holding USDC when the fork happens. So they're probably going to pull their liquidity. So does the liquidity in the Hex USDC pool go incredibly low? And if, as it's going incredibly low, does everybody want to buy Hex before the fork? And if that's the case,
Why would people pull out of that pool?
Hex is the number one.
because if you're holding USDC,
Hang on, guys. Let's not talk over each other.
why would someone want to pull out of the Hex USDC pool before the fork? Because if you're holding that liquidity, on the other side, you're getting USDC, which you don't know which will have any value, and you're getting raped by the bots.
No. The bot only messes with the pairs that are with Pulse/ETH.
Is that true?
True.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought
Yeah, you could-
that was the case, but then I heard some
Yeah.
stuff that maybe
Regardless,
not.
regardless, maybe the bots don't affect it, but
Yep.
still, all of that USDC, you have no idea. If these are the big whales. They're not going to risk that much USDC, like bridging over and be potentially worth nothing.
Mm.
So, if a whole lot of liquidity is pulled before the fork, right, and you have very thin liquidity, that means that the price can go up or down very easily.
Massive. Yeah.
And if you have everybody clamoring for Hex before the fork, guess what happens to the price of Hex? Now, you also might have people trying to play it the other way. They're thinking, I'm going to get the Hex now. As soon as it spikes up just before, I'm going to sell it. But anyone with thin liquidity, when they sell it, that's going to affect the price drastically as well. So you might get this thing where it just like zipping up and down. The price is just going berserk.
But all it would take is one benevolent whale who doesn't want that to happen, to have order books so thin that it is just ridiculous up and downside, and who has so much money that they don't care whether their USDC on the other side is worthless or whatever.
Yeah, and who do we know who might do that? So that's interplay as well, right?
It could be a third world priest. It could be a third world
Could be a
priest.
third world priest.
Well, was that the Garden of Enlightenment?
It could be an IoT device, like might be a non-human entity, alien.
And what does
monks,
that entity want?
monks
What has that
plug-
entity stated that they want, and what is their whole raison d'etre?
No, I heard.
to
I
not
was up
see
there.
cheap hex anywhere.
Yes.
Sorry, what's on, Rex?
And for Bloobum to buy a monk's butt plug. Don't ask, don't tell.
Little known fact that.
Hey guys, so when the Tom's documentary comes out, can we do a reaction video?
Hell yes.
Yeah, we got
Hell yes.
fun. That'll be fun as shit. Hey, I gotta go up for work early, so sorry to park, guys. I'd love to stay. See you all
Love you,
next
Sammy.
week.
See you, Sammy.
Yes, Sammy.
Love
See
you,
you,
Sammy.
everyone. Take
See you,
care.
Sammy.
Have
See you,
fun.
Sammy.
Bye.
So-
See you, Sammy.
Okay,
We've
so
got this situation, right?
Yeah.
We've got this situation where there's a whole lot of people who have been getting into PulseX. We think that there's a big sentiment of them part of them, their sentiment is that they want to get Pulse really quickly. There's going to be a whole lot of people wanting Pulse on the Hex side. There's going to be a whole lot of people probably maybe dumping Pulse on the Hex on the East side. There's going to be other people seeing that as a
Dude,
bargain
there's just
and wanting to come in.
there's so
It's
many
just gonna
variables.
be
Too
an
I'm with
absolute
Day43. Too complex.
show.
Too complex.
It's
Yeah.
going to be an
complex.
absolute shit show. There's
Yeah,
going
it's
to be
gonna be
like,
fun to watch.
Stuff is going to it's going to be popcorn time, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And
We don't know what's going to happen.
you
I
have
say,
no
I
idea.
say, if you like Richard Hart projects, then you probably want to dip your toes into each of the pools if you like his projects. He's got Hex, he's got PulseChain, and he's got PulseX.
And how much
you know?
attention?
And I'm tiny
How much-
in all those. I'm tiny as.
And how much
I'm heavy
attention
on
Shrimp.
Hex. I love Hex. But yeah.
is all of that drawing?
What's that?
What do you mean?
How much attention is all of that drawing? People are getting all of these free PRC20s. All of this stuff is going on. It's just going to be the show. This is the big crypto show of 2022.
120 odd thousand wallets. There's a lot of eyeballs on this. And a lot of those wallets came through as groups of pools and things like that. So you can probably multiply
the
that
pools did
number.
really well.
Exactly.
Good one.
All of
We-
those
Pools
balls,
did
we don't
really,
know how
really
many
well.
people, like
In
how
the-
many pools.
In the sacrifice, you just like envy some of those pools, guys. 'cause,
I still think
wow.
most people don't know about it, but
Agreed.
once word gets out, we're going to see the meaning of a network effect. We're going to see the meaning
wow.
of what that is when people work out that they can just go on, use their same keys, just go onto this different network, and they're going to have
That's exciting.
PRC20s in their account.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
What?
How awesome is that?
What do you guys think is the most important thing to try to get exposure to first? In
Not
terms
to
of,
have a plan.
No.
reckon the
I'm
fix-
saying, like, say, like one of the things would be delegating your stake so that you are going to get fees. So some people would want to pull the trigger on that straight away. So that all the madness at the start, it gives them a yield. Other people would be looking to like either just like make trades and stuff like that. There's lots of stuff you could try and do. What do you guys think should be done first? Like buying Hex might be one that like trying to acquire as much Hex as possible. I know that's probably going to be uNrekt's answer.
Look, it's never a bad time to buy Hex, especially if you're going to stake it, especially if you're going to stake it long.
I reckon PulseChain is a good punt. Sorry, you go, Bluey. Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
And I would suggest an HSI stake done through the Hedron where you'll be able to sell it as an NFT later, which gives you even greater optionality. So there's never a bad time to buy Hex. And I think in the end, like who knows how these things are going to go. It's going to go all over the place. But in the end,
assuming the code and the audit's all good.
Of what?
Just throw that in there.
Of all this stuff or what? Or you mean Hedron?
Of anything, of anything.
We know you believe in Hedron. We know it's like, I love Hedron too. If it stops me from ending a stake early, because I hate ending stakes early. And I've done a few. I've had more stakes end early than I've had ones that go to maturation, if that's anything. I'm on a wall of shame. I don't like it. I fucking hate it. But yeah, I'm on a wall of shame and everything. So put that in your pipe and smoke it out there, Hexkins.
My point is that long term, I still think Hex is the apex predator. Still, Hex is the apex predator, and so sit back and watch it, and don't make any rash moves. Like if you see a big dip in something, maybe get a bit of that. That's what I'm gonna do. But it's just like sit back and watch, and just don't go all in on any one thing. Like.
So I think at launch, if you try and galaxy brain it, you're going to get smashed. If you're deficient in one particular thing you wish to hold, so let's just say you missed out on PulseChain launch, then maybe you do need to have a plan for, okay, if X happens, then I'm going to buy it. Like if Pulse ramps up, if PulseX ramps up and Pulse drops or whatever, that's my trigger. So have a plan, but be flexible, but know that you've got a specific goal, which is I missed out on Pulse and I want to get some of that.
Now, having said all of that, most people are not going to be level-headed, right? Especially if they're looking to trade.
Be mayhem.
Let's add into the mix, right? Everyone who's been transacting on Ethereum, where you have to like really think whether you're going to like do a trade or not because of how much it costs to make a trade. All of these people moving over to PulseChain at the moment now, and it's like super fast, super cheap. Like,
okay,
I think bringing your ERC20s over from Ethereum and staking them over in a pair with your PRC20s on Pulse is going to be very profitable. That's my prediction.
I wouldn't
say that again.
I think it is.
Can we go to? Can we just talk about just quickly? Just talk
I
about
think that's going to be possible.
Revolutionary. The innovation is like this is innovation.
Mate, you want to be staking it. Why would you want to have it in a liquidity pair?
I'm not talking about Hex. I'm saying if you've
just any ERC20.
If you've got ERC20s and you're like you're going to go get your PRC20s, I think that a smart move could be something that
pretty dangerous though.
I agree. Heavy.
Let's say you have Chainlink, right? You've got all this ETH Chainlink. You take it over to the Pulse side. All of the people on who have got the Pulse Chainlink decide we're going to dump the shit out of this. You'll end up with all of that Pulse link, which is worthless.
I remember. That's actually Bloobum. That's actually a fair point.
Is that a Richard Hart product though? It's not.
Louis,
no.
Yeah, PulseX
so
is
don't talk about it.
No, uNrekt. PulseX is a Richard Hart product, which is there for this reason, and he's creating a token.
Link.
No, what he's creating an inflating token as a rewards token for PulseX.
Yeah. I'm in the sacrifice. Right. I don't care what I'll get. If I get nothing, I'll be happy because I started with nothing. And but like,
I actually think that's going to be. I think he's going to gamify it in a way that's going to make it very profitable to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Hey mate, I'll put as much as I can in.
What can he possibly do though?
sacrificing yet. I love the sacrifice.
What tokenomics could he put on this incentive token?
If I knew that, I'd be doing it myself, Louis. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
There is only so much.
I just like to get involved in it because it tends to be quite profitable. What he tends to do tends to be quite profitable.
Well,
like I know
it's not all beer and skittles, but the mad gains. Come on, in Hex have been outstanding. I'm not all that in a bag of chips myself, but gee whiz, I've done all right in like 2 years. Just like staking Hex and that.
I saw a tweet about that. So you know how direct mail, like snail mail, went out previously to all the people who got ledger hacked. And we don't know who sent it, but it happened again. But this time it was for a one pager on Hex, a one pager on Pulse, and a one pager on PulseX. And I actually want to be able to see the photo that the chick put up there was like the pages were fanned out, so you can't actually see everything that's written. But I'd love to be able to see, because obviously that pitch, but I mean, assuming it's Richard, then that's
it's not Richard. It's not Richard. It's just a community person, I reckon, for sure. It's just someone who's inspired. That's my guess. You know how I heard it? I heard a great one. This person was going to libraries and just putting like a little hex card in all the investment books in like the library.
That's tight. That's
a good one.
Yeah,
because obviously someone's going there with the effort, with the intention of learning about.
I'm going to go over to Twitter and
or...
invite Hexy Bastard on. Let's go over to Twitter and invite Hexy Bastard on the stream, eh? What do you?
Do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get him in.
There was one time.
You need to have Hexy Bastard on. We've been talking about it for a long time, and we have to work
hit him up. So there was one time where Richard talked about the original, because I also thought that it was just like a random Hex community member that did the first mail out, and then there was a Richard Hart stream where he was talking about it, and the way his tone about it made me think that it could have been him.
Really?
Yeah.
We've had Richard Hart watch our stream. Yeah. He's come on like the Hex Late Show before. And Tangent, you've educated Richard Hart, and so that's like kudos to you, mate. Because we're talking about like Mensa like next level genius. The dude is on fire. Don't try to stop him.
I think there was only one time that I can remember that he referred indirectly to something I had said. Maybe. Is that what you're talking about when you said?
Yeah, in our first season, we had he came through on a VPN, and it was the real Richard Hart that was watching our stream, and we were having a conversation about at the time. I think it was like back in the day, but it's like a lot of water, and like every day's a new day, and a week's a long time in crypto. And what's going on with the chart? Tangent with TA, and where we're seeing like.
Hey, Hexy Bastard's in the chat actually. If you want to come on,
I'll just send him. I'll send him the link to join the StreamYard.
Oh, cool.
And it'd be really nice if you could come on, mate. I know it's short notice ad hoc, and if you're still getting out of bed, wakey hand off safety or whatever it is over in England. It's probably cold over there. It's beautiful here, beautiful
What's
climate.
The story?
I took a sneaky photo the other day of a girl. She's lying on the beach, and she's with her legs apart. And I was walking alone. I went I got to take a photo of that.
Mate, if you did do that, you don't admit it on a live stream.
Man, thank goodness. uNrekt.
Welcome to the interwebs.
So fresh start.
Fresh start.
Refresh. Control
So what's
Alt-Delete.
everyone been
No.
doing?
Welcome to the Hex
can't
Late
play-
Show.
Can't play
We have
Perfection
Bloobum. We've
Jam.
got Jexxa. We got Tangent. Hey,
we can
didn't
just
play the
delete the
intro.
first half.
we did not have an intro, so there you go, guys.
Go play the intro.
Been trying to
sometime.
like replace that.
Exactly.
I want to get beards only to make it like something cool, because like something that's not copyright infringed.
What's
Don't
copyright?
get me wrong.
Copyright infringed
No,
on that.
that's perfect. Nothing. At
They're all memes that last for less than like a few seconds. Nothing
Oh, that's-
copyrighted there.
No.
Nothing.
Bitch tit. Oh, I know. I found a real subtlety this week. Day 43. That it's not bitch tits of the week. It's bitch tit. So you don't get two tits. You get one tit. You only get a tit when you win.
It's you are a tit, bitch tit.
That's right. So you like, if you like love the mother's milk, you only get one of.
So this is the way I understand it. Bitch tits is
Not
like,
a pair. Not a pair.
we've got a
You
pair
don't
of
get the
bitch
pair.
tits, right? Bitch tits is the where it comes from. You've got like tits, two tits. You're a dude. You've taken too many steroids, and you've got a pair of tits in your middle aged. You're a massive pair of tits. But if you win the
Or you,
competition,
like, get up in this
you're bitch tit
spandex.
of the week. Bitch tit of the week.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
speaking of such, yeah.
Have at it. Bitch to the week. Who you're at.
Bitch tits of the week. Jexxa.
I'm slightly more prepared, but give me a second. Just got to sort this sucker.
Do you want
We're
to
going to do the
this
chart.
up?
We're going
Do you want to
yeah,
flash
let's
this
do
chart
it.
up?
Live.
So
Yeah, man.
I think this is the most important
No,
thing.
This is the most important thing. Let's go. Number go up.
Shit, I can hear an echo.
Let's
Is
have
that
it.
me?
Let's have it. Tangent.
Okay.
Louis.
So sorry. Shit. Here.
What's happened there?
So I thought I could hear an echo, so I was just trying to see if I had our stream playing in the background. It wasn't though. So at the end of last week, which would have been like yesterday morning for us, we had to defend this long-term. So this line here is the long-term trend line that everyone just absolutely gets erect for. And we had price action that was like right down to this line. And fortunately, before the week ended, we bounced up. And so it was only the wick touched that trend line. So it looks like this week we're going to be battling again for the defense of that particular trend line. So yeah, currently we're actually underneath it. So hopefully before the end of the week, we'll pull up to, somewhere above it. So, I know Jenkins tweeted out that this is critical. Like this is absolutely critical that the price stays above this trend line, for sentiment and for, technicals. So we'll see what happens.
When are we going to see a breakout?
Underneath? What
When
does it
is the
mean if it
breakout?
went underneath that trend line? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, in the short term, it's not necessarily the end of the world, like because sometimes trend lines will appear to break, but it's just like a fake out or whatever. Like but I would prefer to not see a weekly close below that trend line. Ultimately, if it goes below it and then retests it and then moves down, then it means that trend line has turned into resistance rather than support. So hopefully we don't see that shit.
Is that a trend line of all the all-time low, like of all the lows?
This is literally that line that everyone watches that has been intact since the start of Hex.
Is that the? Is that
we've
sorry?
never had
The
a
random
weekly
line.
close
The random line.
Is that the random line? That's not,
Yes.
that is the random line, is it?
Yes.
I thought the random line was middle of the chart, But
That's
that
what I
one,
thought.
not even
yeah,
40%.
but that one is definitely what's a random line as well. But that's definitely the long-term support, isn't it?
Are you guys saying that there's one that like runs through the middle like
Yeah,
this?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
The
what I thought.
tangent. So if
random
you were
line
looking at that from purely a technical perspective, like and just
Oh, yeah.
disregarded all the other sort of things that were things that were happening, what would that chart be telling you?
I'd say it's still fine because we haven't closed a week below it yet. So it was successfully defended at the end of the last week. So the last week closed above it, and we've obviously got like almost a whole nother week to see where the price goes. So for now, it's not concerning.
So if it does go below that line, does that mean
closes below?
If it closes, if a weekly closes below that line, would that be considered bearish?
Then I would want to see the week after that close convincingly above. Otherwise, then I would start to be concerned.
Okay. So if you see it rolling over 2 weeks in a row, basically it's like, well, what's happening?
Well, we're due. We were due, aren't we? We're due for another what we call it expansion, or we call it like I don't know, a bit of a feeding frenzy on buying. I think we're due.
There's a lot of fundamental things. Like we sit here and we look at charts all the time, but there's a lot of fundamental things that have played out recently, which they all have an impact. Everyone's been if you've got buying power that you would have went into Hex, you might have put some of that into Pulse and to PulseX. Now that those things are behind us, people will probably turn their attention back to Hex, and at the moment it's at the bottom of a trend line. That's a good time to be snapping up Hex.
Yeah, if you believe in the long-term viability of it, now seems like a good time to buy.
So what did you say before, Bluey? We're about to go into a phase where you're going to get 2 for 1 Hex. And we think like there's a pretty strong chance that it's going to be at parity. But that's pretty crazy. You don't get those opportunities very often. Like if someone said to you, look, we think this is a sure bet to get 100% gain, he's not going to chuck money in it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as a sure thing.
No. Yeah, there's definitely not.
It's not time in the market. It's time in the market. That's what I'd say.
You know, I'm seeing other people.
This is true. This comment here, I'm not sure that.
Yeah, I don't think he ever said that.
No, I don't think that's Richard Hart doesn't tend to make forward-looking predictions when it comes to Hex. He does it.
You should have no expectation
in Ethereum
from the work of others.
I think what he did say is that historically there's never been a 6-month period that Hex hasn't made an all-time high. Historically speaking, I think he said something to that effect.
Really? Is that right?
Yep.
60 days?
No. 6 months.
Oh, 6 months. Yeah. I thought it said 60 days on there.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I was pointing out. That
remember, hey Jexxa, you had that statistical analysis looking at how long it took to double in the days.
Yeah, I mean, we've blown that out of the water because we had a big pullback. But what it was more a look at average days, and the average days to do a double was 68. But in saying that, we've had periods of 170 days where we just crab sideways. So
that was the 129 or 170?
I think it was 170. So when we talk about averages, obviously that works out. But when you look at the chart, you're going to have these long drawn out periods, and that's obviously what we're going through now.
Yeah.
But off the back of that, we could have explosive moves in a short amount of time and do a double, and then another explosive move and do another double. So then your average comes back in line. So that's...
And I wouldn't be surprised if that explosion happens either soon after he announces the fork or very close to it.
Mm-hmm. You don't there's going to be one last chance where you can get double your Hex. Yep. Now, what's
this comment?
Mm-hmm.
Last time I got 100% Hex game was Big Payday. This is Big Payday 2.0.
Yep.
I like that. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. There's like this...
Well, lead up.
But we
lead up to, hey?
Yeah. But we just don't know the date. soon.
I mean, I'm still seeing comments in text that everyone or this one particular person saying eHex will drop and pHex will explode. You don't? I wouldn't be so sure.
And if it does that, there'll be people ready to catch those discount ETH hex bags.
There is hex locked out. I've just shown you states that have literally hundreds of millions of hex locked out 15 years. Do they want that to go down? Like, people are going to protect the price. I think it's madness to think there may be a momentary dip, possibly. Who knows? But like Bluey just said, I think that'll get snapped up pretty damn quickly. And
that would put a lot of confidence in the hex ecosystem. If that was to happen, you know.
It's obvious already. I mean, it's obvious what's going to happen, isn't it? It's just like a matter of time. Hey, look at this. Australia Day fucking special gay times.
What does it taste like, uNrekt? It's like green and yellow gay times, hey? Is it lime
it's like
or is
green gold gay time, like Australia version.
Is it the same taste as a normal gay time? Does it a different colour or is it a different taste?
I think it's just at the moment it's better.
It's
really
better.
Good. Yeah, look at that.
Is it like a lime taste or?
It's like if I was Popeye, you'd see inside there, eat your greens, boy. And I just like to be blowing out like mad guns from eating this
flavour, gay times.
Yeah,
it's really green, isn't it?
Anyway, I'm sorry to indulge in front of like the World Wide Web and like interwebs and all that. We got 93 viewers. Welcome.
Years ago, I thought I had a business idea, and I thought, like, how many flavors are there that don't have names? Like, basically, you can just change a bit of a chemical, and you can add sugar, and bang, you've got a flavor. And I reckon that's how they would have come. Do you remember Egg Flip Big M?
Yeah, it's like
they had all sorts of weird Big M's, like Chockberry and all these different weird ones. And I was thinking,
it's just crazy.
We could have like hex flavored milk.
Whatever sells, mate. Whatever sells, mate. Whatever gets the word out to like. And I saw a banner today. It was like freedom, 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 and I couldn't believe it was like, you know, like actually, that what happens if everyone is set free from like the tyranny and slavery, and then you can't, and then like your toilet breaks, and you can't get your toilet fixed because you can't get a plumber because they're all retired for mad gains. What do you do then?
Learn how to fix toilets?
Well, you do everything yourself. Exactly right.
YouTube DIY tutorials, yeah.
uNrekt, you just buy a new toilet every time, man.
Yeah, buy a new house.
Well, that's what I say. It's like, find a woman that you get sick of.
That's all that's
every 5 years.
Oh, this light switch has stopped working. New house. Wait, throw this chart up again. I'm gonna do what some people do. We'll do some copium. Some hopium. Let's do this thing. Every time that the price has touched this long-term support line that's been going since basically the start, this time it did an 8x. This time it did a 30x, a 5x, a 5x, and a freaking 3x. And now we're literally on this line again. So take from that whatever you want, but I think we're due for a pump.
So basically, you're promising a 20x.
I'm promising a minimum of a 30x. No, I'm kidding. I mean, you'd have to average these out, right? Like, as in, I like the fact that there are two that were 5x. You know, so let's just go with that.
Yeah,
that's the mode. 5x is the mode.
That's $1, hey? Yeah, we break $1.
You could work out the mean.
Fair call.
So while we've got your chart up, do we want to do bitch tits?
Yes.
So 11.
That was where we were heading with this, wasn't it?
Sorry. 11x. 11x is the average.
Bitch tits.
So this is where we basically guess the price of Hex next week, and we look at who got closest. And Jexxa is
Stop
just
milking.
probably pulling that up at the moment. And for anyone who wants to make a prediction for next week, you just go to www.titbit.ch, and at the bottom there they have a what's the button you press?
Vote.
Vote, and you can put
That
in
in
your
China.
your estimate for next
That
week.
China. That in China.
So we nearly had our first official draw tonight.
Switzerland.
It was very close.
Oh, it says bit shit.
but- You're not going to believe this. Dozza's done it again.
Oh, Dawsey, really?
Dorsey, he's already
No,
got
Dozza.
legend.
Not Dawsey.
Oh,
No,
Dozza.
that's gotta
The
be-
original
oh,
bitch
you're
tits
lucky.
has done it again.
Wow.
That's
I was going to
that's
say,
a bit of
because
a
if you like, imagine if you got like legend of the week.
He is
bitch
going
shit.
to be in the Hall of Fame, I think.
yeah, hell yeah. That's got to be at least 5 or 6 times, I would think.
Was this
And the
so
original.
This is
You
the
know-
Young
Yeah,
and
and the
Wild
original.
handle, right?
Not Dozza.
So, oh, yo,
That's
I
Trevor.
know
That's
this guy.
Trevor.
I know this guy in real life. We went to
Yeah,
uni
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
That's
So-
crazy.
Tangent.
Hey mate,
you should be
you're the TA master.
you should be
so it's
getting your
not
trade advice
surprised.
from him, mate.
Yeah, shit. Seriously, he's been
Congratulations,
killing
Dozza.
it. His guesses have been fire. Like his predictions,
He's
predictions
killing
have been fire.
Nice one.
Maybe Dozza is the gold whale, just
He could be.
manipulating the price.
Maybe great.
I-
great
So we
minds
can
think
win the
alike.
title of Bitch Tit of the
Great
Week.
minds think alike.
There's a
Oh
conspiracy
man,
theory.
I would like to think that if he was the god whale, he would have at least like bought a Ferrari and taken me for a spin in it by now. Like, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Or just like fucking gifted me one or something. Like, just
Hey, do you
like,
guys reckon? Do you reckon? Let's make an assumption here. Let's say that Richard Hart is not the OA, and it is actually somebody else. Right?
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you reckon, like, if it was, if you were the, let's say it was somebody else, right?
Okay.
And there are good reasons to think that it actually might be someone else, right?
Like an OPSEC strategy for him to not
plausible
be here.
deniability. If it gets hauled in.
Yeah, all right. I like this thought experiment. Let's do it.
I like that game, Jexxa. Do that again.
So if you were the OA, do you reckon you would have like a Twitter account and you maybe watch a few live streams every now and then, and you just kind of could be one of the people, one of the peeps in the one of the plebs in the ideas room, in
Yeah.
the chats?
Yeah, I
Like
think
you'd
so.
probably hang out in the community a bit, wouldn't you? And just kind of lay low, just gauging what the kind of temperature is of everything and all of that.
There's a lot of lurkers in there. There's a lot of lurkers out there.
Did you say the God Whale or the OA, Bluey?
The OA
Yeah. Mate, so do you think the OA is in chat?
could be.
Could be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It could be anyone, like as in, could be
Well,
anyone within.
He wouldn't be in our chat.
I think he would.
We're
I
an
think
outbound
I think
messaging
we are the
service for
temperature of the
crypto.
community.
So just remember that.
We're the
More like
temperature
spread
of
the
the
gospel.
community, are we?
We're the
No, we're
Yeah,
trying
if
to
they're
get the
taking
word
the
out
temperature
about
through a-
like and putting it like staking your future
Anal
and
thermometer.
something that's like actually pays us interest and
Are we running two streams or what?
Sounds like we get cross-wired. I'll shut up.
No.
Anyway.
What happens? What happens
Listen.
is uNrekt starts talking sometimes, and because I think there's a bit of a lag.
Yeah,
Like-
I've got like only 3 bars or something.
what? And
And it's like I've noticed it's really annoying. Actually, I agree. I'm on,
You're using Bluetooth
I'm a
headphones again, aren't you?
dedicated streaming computer with no security breaches in my like prison cell, and trying to like keep a low profile on the interwebs.
Oh,
And,
look at that.
So there you go.
Wait, here's a question that's in a similar vein as what you just asked, Bluey. Do you think that the oh shit, fuck, I forgot.
The God whale.
Do you think
So many
that
questions.
Do you think that the NSA could work out who the OA is if they were to allocate adequate resources to that question?
I reckon you could make a pretty good assumption, unless you have the best operational security. I don't know. Like if you're
So we're
really
talking
diligent,
government resources, and a hard on to find out what entity controls that.
Maybe.
I don't think they could.
I don't think you could. I think if you were being very diligent using VPNs to hosted servers and I think
you'd think that the OA would have the pretty shit hot OPSEC, assuming, and I don't think it'd be that hard to hide from, even like NSA or whatever.
The Ethereum protocol is not a private protocol, so yeah, this is a very, very difficult question to answer because it depends how many resources they could throw at it. Yeah, there's a and I don't know if this has changed, but there's a YouTube video with Peter. I don't know I don't know if I can pronounce his surname properly. I think it's Peter Sillage. And he's like he's the lead guy of Ethereum, the Ethereum of Geth, I should say. And he's got a video about it, about this type of, how you can, you just need to go check it out. It goes very deep, and I don't know, man.
I guess
it's hard.
It's also, we don't actually know what technologies they have necessarily either, do we?
Yeah, good point.
I don't know if it's about just, resources though, necessarily. Like it wouldn't be hard, I don't think, to find out where Richard Hart lives if you had all the resources in the world.
No, well, you wouldn't need many resources.
He's done nothing wrong. It's just like
any government could do that. They just contact other governments and be like, "Yo, where's this guy at? Is he in your country? He's not in our country. Is he in your country? No. You guys, okay, he's in your country."
I think the big thing,
those corrupt motherfuckers would find him in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, the big thing that is the divide, and this is why DeFi is somewhat always protected at this point in time, is no matter, like, even if they can trace IP addresses and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing that legally appoints you an owner of address unless you willingly register that address and own up to it. But if an Ethereum address is not registered with a government department or anything like that, then you can't legally prove that it's associated with them because it's not part of the legal fiction. Like, you haven't brought into the legal fiction. So until you identify with the legal fiction,
you can have multiple owners of one address, and it's whoever has the keys is an owner. So why does that address?
And there's nothing that proves that other people don't have the keys.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is an interesting comment, which goes to what you're talking about, legality and stuff. Australian Border Force. It's not only Australian Border Force powers; it's also police.
Regular police as well. Yeah,
they can
ask you to unencrypt your device, like ask you to log into your device and force you to do it.
Unlock it.
Password. To unlock it. Unencrypt.
And there have been people coming back into Australia who had to give up their phones and give up their passwords. Which we were talking, me and OG43 were talking about this on a stream just before. I would have thought that as soon as you do that, that device is compromised.
Hell yeah.
So wouldn't you could you argue, okay, I'll give you my phone, you got to pay me for a new phone?
Mate,
good luck with that one.
In a fair and just world, they shouldn't even be taking it from you. But this was one of those bills that was slipped through on a Friday afternoon sort of deal, where everyone was probably too busy watching the Melbourne Cup or something like that, and got slid through, and no opposition to it, which is absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, it is rubbish, and it goes and it makes a mockery of the Privacy Act.
And it makes a mockery of the Privacy Act. They can actually edit. They can actually edit things on your phone. Like they can edit files and stuff.
Do we say
so they could actually
gone, like Richard says? Like,
we're pretty much done.
Or do we go? Hang on a minute. There's got to be some dignity left, And
What did you say,
freedom-
uNrekt them? What's gone? Freedom or
Privacy.
privacy?
No, privacy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Privacy in the legal world as we know it, definitely gone, but in the blockchain world still exists.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
and just bear this in
That's
mind.
a good
Please,
point.
please bear this in mind that if you don't want to learn about this stuff, encryption, if you don't want to learn about it, then you can stay in that sort of paradigm where they can just take your stuff and you unlock it and that's it, right? But if you learn about stuff, then the knowledge is on your side, and then maybe you can organize your affairs in a way that is optimal, let's say.
So hang on a minute. Like there was a legal precedent in the States around like government trying to access an Apple iPhone, and they wanted to like have, I don't know, far-reaching powers to actually be able to like force someone to give up their encryption to their vault or whatever it is that you need the security and encryption on a mobile phone, say. And did that? I don't know where that went, but I heard that that's what they were trying to get. And I know that it says out there trying to get into these things, but and there's SIM swaps and all stuff like that. But I've heard Apple's said no to that to government. Is that? I don't know. You know anything about it? Am I making sense, or is it just?
Yeah, I think we've gotten to a stage now, and because I've known about these rules for a while, these laws for a while, and we've seen it come through where people are literally getting their devices confiscated from them. So for me now, it's
we saw an article on The Guardian about that.
Yeah. So for me now, it's got to a point where if I travel, my phone would not have anything on there that I wouldn't be happy just to have it self-destruct. And if I can have an app on there that if I give them a PIN code, they put it in and it just obliterates everything, so be it.
I believe Apple does that. You can brick all your devices remotely as they're turned on.
Yep.
Via, I'm not like shilling Apple or anything like that.
It's got to that point where you have to take those sorts of measures, which is bullshit,
I'm using
really.
Windows. Yeah. You've got to think about all this worst case scenario stuff, and
Is that the case
particularly as the value of the asset grows, like we've seen in Hex, you've got to like operational security and making sure that you've got everything in place around you not being there or some sort of contingency, because we're going to see a ground zero event, and the hexagons, as you see, like getting incredibly wealthy, and I see that like from like old school crypto scamming point of view, that's going to be a target. Do you think?
I want to make a comment on Benny's. I wonder if the rest of the world will learn not to give up their guns next time. I think it's important to point out that the way your constitution is written in the US is completely different to the way ours is written. It's like they are different. They are completely different. So we've never had the right to bear arms in Australia. So the process of changing the laws when it comes to guns, it's a different process, and it's not something that we could defend in the same way, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense.
You can still own a gun over here.
You can still own a gun, yeah.
Easy. I mean, easy. I've got one, Benny. Just so you know, who come over and we can go out in the paddock and have a yippee shooting the old time.
You just have to get a license and a safe. Like you have to have somewhere to store it.
Any old time, mate.
And obviously not have a criminal record.
Come on.
So unfortunately, that's
competent. You've got to be competent in the operation and use of.
So we've just sacrificed for freedom of assembly. PulseChain was freedom of speech. So they're not just throwaway lines that Richard's attaching to these events.
And freedom of movement.
And freedom of movement. He truly believes it, and so do I. That's obviously it's not wholly why I sacrifice, but I believe in the ethos of crypto and what it can bring to us as sovereign individuals. And this year especially, so up until now, I think the powers that be have been okay to watch this little side show go on called crypto, but crypto is actually getting pretty serious now, and
We're not going away. We're not going away.
not going away. It's getting a little bit bigger, and they understand that it has the ability to actually rattle a few cages in the legacy finance world and upset potentially the balance of power given enough time. So they're doing
We're already
everything.
seeing that is true.
I don't think they
Yep.
realise that yet.
I
I think our politicians are absolutely.
No, I disagree.
Living in an imaginary fake.
No,
world.
I think the broader politicians do, but there is policymakers and people trying to wedge this in, and they don't need everyone to understand all this, but there is people that do understand it. To think that there's not experts that have been brought in that understand this space and know what it's about is.
What I don't think they realise is how much of a threat it is to their financial system.
I think they do. If you've have a look at that FATF document, they know.
Yeah, the FATF one, but in terms of most politicians wouldn't even be that.
No,
aware
I
of
totally
that
agree.
document.
Totally agree. Yep. But there is definitely elements that are trying to drive those changes through, and it'll be, to most people, anything that happens they'll be totally oblivious to the fact that all this has gone on.
But also,
Most
even
people
in that FATF document, they admit that there are things which are too decentralized.
DeFi, they can't touch it,
Yeah.
and that's because it doesn't subscribe to the legal fiction. So if you don't buy in and register, or like when you register a company, you're registering, you're opting to be part of that legal fiction. That's that very act. When you register a birth, you're opting to be part of that legal fiction. If an address is never registered for anything.
I don't think governments are trying to get rid of it, though. I mean, in Australia, they tax it. So the idea that they tax it just means that they accept that it's there and they just want to take their cut out of it. So I don't think, like in Australia, they're going to try and get rid of it. I just think they want to make sure that they get their pound of flesh, so to speak.
So, and that's what it's all about, is they're trying to reach in to the space as much as they can, because now it depends on your thoughts on tax. I think people need to, as a community, we need to fund things, but I think the level of tax that is imposed on people is way too much. The system is too top heavy in terms of management and bureaucracy, and we fund a lot of that shit.
It's almost like a disincentive to do
the whole
really
thing's a scam,
well,
because they just print up as much as they want and then go and tax you. It's like, do one or the other. Come on.
Yeah, and Australia, I don't know what other countries like, but Australia is a massive shit sandwich. Like, the amount of layers of tax we have on things is just crazy. Hundreds of taxes.
The land tax that we have is I mean, what we've got in Victoria is obscene. It's obscene. It's because they don't miss a year of like upping the value of what's there, right? So you can get to a point, like, especially in the last few years in Australia, where you haven't been able to put up your rents because of what's gone on. But all the values have gone up. So land tax wise, you're getting you're paying like a higher purport. You've gone into the scales haven't gone up, so there's been bracket creep on it. So they're all like these sneaky ways to just get more out of. So you could have worked your whole life, and accrued this nice, bit of a nice chunk of something, and then you look at it and you're like, well, what have I got really left at the end of the year once every like jurisdiction takes their cut? Once you've got your local government taking their cut, your state government, and then the federal. It's like, what have I got left over at the end? So they really need to look at those things, like the scaling of these taxes as well. And I don't want to get onto taxes because I know how much the chat loves us talking about Australian tax. Australian tax, no less. They don't give a fuck about American tax, let alone Australian tax.
Just
so I guess to bring it all to bring this all around full circle without going into all the tax rabbit hole and all that kind of stuff, that is why DeFi is important. That's why Hex is important, is it doesn't have any branches out into that legacy world, and everything that we opt into as users of this technology we should be aiming to be in that decentralized world. because that is at the moment unreachable.
That's great news, Jamie. I mean, I heard that they dropped all the the COOF restrictions in London. I thought it was just because Boris was trying to save his job, but
Hexy bastard sends his regards, by the way. He's working on the job.
They want to become the crypto hub for the planet.
Who said that? London?
London, yeah. I hadn't heard that at all. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what they. I don't know. I'm not qualified to talk about that, so I'll stay out of it. But about are they going to let it rip? And it's like you're just getting so many different, getting both ends of the spectrum, and it's very, very hard to make sound, rational decisions for the, I guess, health and well-being of your family. And we've seen different, I guess, takes on it. And everyone's got a different perspective, and that's why it's important to have these conversations. And so
a lot of regulatory uncertainty when it comes to these things in all jurisdictions around the world. Everyone's changing.
What is the solution? You've got to evolve. You've got to look at the things that are staying the same. Like everyone's still got to put food on the table. Everyone's still got to put gas.
Learn how to use the tools.
Use their cars. And then you've got these evolving technologies, and it's like, to me, crypto's a no-brainer. I mean, it's like just go in there and just don't expect anything, but just have a bit of a dabble. But the best strategy is buy and hold, or in Hex's case, stake, because I'm a numbnut and I'll make lots of mistakes, and I go in hard and break things. But thankfully, I was smart enough to work out the value of T-shares, and I've got longer stakes that on paper they look sweet, but in reality they're not worth anything, because if you crash them, I think it's something like 30% or something like that. If you do that, you're gone. You nuke your whole bag. And I've seen a guy that I was looking at some addresses that I got referral links from, that I said in the launch phase, hey, fucking buy this shit. It's going to go moon, right? They bought it, and then I got I think I got $500,000 in referrals or some shit, and then I staked that $500,000 for over 10 years, and this bloke, whatever he bought, I think he got maybe 3 million hex. He's got fuck all now. He's got he's gone into all these other little tricky cryptos and this over here, try to make money on the market and things like that. And he should have just kept his hex and staked it. I don't know. Is that making sense? I don't know. Maybe I do know something about.
I was with you up until the numbnuts part, dude.
Yeah, I just went on an Etherscan. I was putting his address in there, and he's getting all this lovely rubbish coins, and I was like, mate, and it's my stake from the referral that I put out in the future is worth more than his entire crypto portfolio. When I told him about Hex, I was like, I didn't fucking show you very well, did I, mate? It's you thought you fucking knew more than me, and you got in and you went okay, bought some Hex, yeah, you did well, but then you sold your Hex, and then you went into all these other things, and now you got 10 ETH or 2/5 of fuck all, But anyway, yeah. It's easy to do. I could fuck. Right.
We've been going for a couple of hours now, so unless any of you guys have got anything to add, we might wind it up. No? All right. Well,
silence. For the one time on the stream, no one talks.
All right, guys. Look, thanks, uNrekt, for making an appearance, mate. We appreciate it. Good to have you back. Bluey,
there we go.
Jexxa, Tangent. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
And to the rest of yous.
Thanks, chat.
We'll see you next Tuesday.